Okay, hello friends. Sorry for the slight delay there. It doesn't look like anyone's watching, but if you are watching this, record or after the event, welcome, thanks for joining, and I hope you can join some live streams in future for a bit of real-time interaction. ATC wise, what have we got online? Palmer, London South, hopefully they stay online for our trip into Stansted. At least they'll cover the initial descent and potentially give us a runway. I know 2.2 is being used in reality because it's nice and quiet and light and variable winds. I have got all my charts loaded up on the iPad, and I've had a look at the control issue I had for some reason. So I have a 3-position switch for my gear lever. The middle position had switched to open the emergency cover, which is why we're having gear up issues, which is odd, but I have hopefully now rectified that. So, without further ado, I've loaded the aeroplane anyway, passengers payload. So I'm going to start the flight. It is now 10:02 Zulu. We are doing pre-flight. The aeroplane has been checked, and after yesterday's horrific landing, it's still serviceable, so we're going to take it back. And so far the streams have been effectively what not to do. I have to say, one aspect that probably contributed yesterday is the fact that not only can you not feel any sink, but you know, that variable wind, you just, when it's got a level of variability like that in reality, you don't get wind shear effects so dramatically, so you'd be able to fly through that quite happily, and it wouldn't be certainly wouldn't be so sharp, which I think is one aspect of what caused the sink, along with the runway slope, which was relatively significant. I mean, it didn't help. I clearly wasn't looking at the end of the runway when we bounced and touched down for the second time. Joseph, thanks for joining. Anyway, let's jump in the jet and get the show on the road. You can see we are covered in dark completely. There is no gate power here because this is not a gate. So let's get the GPU connected. Shocks are set. Brakes should be off. Interesting reflection down there. The stairs are open. Do we need anything else for the moment? No, we don't. So, position and strobe set steady, battery on. As I always say, this is not a full startup, throttles are idle. Get the ground power working. Let's set the parking brake. And there we go, let's get those the right way round. Get the IRSs aligning. There they are. Build up can come on, set normal. Do check those, sometimes they switch over at random. I'm not going to bother checking the crossfeed, we're not going to mess full sensor 4 are off. Power is on. Of course the gen off bus lights would illuminate. Util IV both on. You don't need to worry about the voltmeter ammeter panel, to be honest. Belts can stay off because we're going to need to fuel. Wipers are parked. The engine start switches are off, igniters are right, diff pressure 0. We're not putting any cargo in the forward hold, we've got about 2 tons in the rear. With the hydraulic pumps on, the spoiler cautions have gone. Sorry, the flight control cautions have gone. We can check the window heat, check the overheat. Pretty sure that should go off. Set the cabin as you like. Pop the packs on, we'll leave the APU bleed off. Our initial climb today is low to start with, or step climb because of the airways, so we'll set 180. Show you how to do the step climb. No FMC programming required. .348, 350, and our alternate is Schimmel. What was I going to mention about step climb yet? So you can't, the FMC, the real FMC will give you data, but you cannot perform an automatic step climb. So one thing you can do is set a fix ring around the point at which you're going to do your step climb as a reminder, but that's pretty much all you can do. You just have to remember and do it. If anybody else is watching, since we've got 3 people, we've got Joseph in the chat, please say hi. So departure wise, I'm not sure what they are, I'm not sure which runway we're going to be using. We have got hydraulic pressure, we can check the brake test, disarm comes on and goes off. Don't forget to check the horn. How do you know it's working if you haven't tested it? So simply move it forward. Same on moving off. It didn't sound now. Well, don't know if that's a bit of an equivalent list item, it may well be. 2000 set, the parking brake set. So, happy days. We are still in inches. And Barrow, oh I tell you what, that's because I need to change that as a setting. Not the end of the world. There we go. Does that change? Oh, look at that. So that's interesting. The Barrow moves. Just when selecting that. That's a weird little glitch. Must be a texture thing. I might report that. I'll probably forget to do lots of things. So, let's have a look at our flight plan. You can see our flight times and everything there. What do we need? So, bearing in mind, I've added 15 minutes, not because the weather's sketchy on arrival, but because it's unicorn, the winds are light variable, and we could have clouds running around all over the place. So, 7345 is what we're going to ask for. You can see we've already got the payload. 40.3, so our estimated zero fuel weight, 60.9, take away 43.1, gives us 17.8, we're actually quite a bit lighter than that. So I do need to double check with SimBrief. Again, I keep saying I need to check it. I haven't got around to it. It works, it doesn't matter. And of course, this is estimated. The load sheet will give you the actual loading of the aircraft, and you then adjust calculations based on that. You can see there's our step climb of VANAD 320. So fuel wise, we've got 3835. We had 3840 yesterday. We are going to ask for 7345. I'm going to ask for that exact. I'm not going to round it up because we already have some additional, and we're probably not going to need all of our taxi. Let's get the music rolling. Which hasn't worked. Yes, it has. Patience, grasshopper. Cool, so I will inflict upon you the authentic Ryanair welcome music. I don't think I've ever flown Ryanair. Maybe once, I suppose that's the joke, isn't it? Everyone's flown Ryanair once. So, nav data is correct, and you can see the FMC update is version 14 now. That didn't used to be the case, it's been upgraded for the mod. Where are we? We're at Foxtrot Bravo Lima. Putting in 1A, it doesn't look it up, but it's good as a reminder. I then end up writing it down on the OFP next to the departure ATC clearance, just in case I forget. I don't want to have the radio. Sounds prototypical, but is not professional. So we are going to Echo Golf Sierra Sierra. We are going to use personal call sign, because there's less chance of duplication. And I am going to load up the saved route, which we will then check. So, direct BALAN, Alpha 34 VANAD, direct. Where's LGL? I know that's Upper November 859 to Deauville, direct SITET. Lima 1512 Drake, direct Seaford, direct Detling. setting 2 alpha, and like I said, 2.2 is what we expect, so that's correct. What we can do is anticipate our departures. The 3 alpha is the honour for 03, whichever were the first actually before we do that. The arrival doesn't really matter. Setting 2 alpha will just get us to Abbott. And we can pick the runway from there. So again, we can do that when we get a little bit closer, depending on the situation. I am anticipating 2.2 though, having had a look at SimBrief, not SimBrief, Flight Radar. That is being used in reality. So, there's our 0 fuel weight, 59.5. You can see our fuel is increasing, so I am going to put the planned fuel of 7.3 in. So Ryanair will do the trip and taxi fuel of 3418. It would put in there to do all the calculations off of the route fuel, which I suppose actually makes sense. I'm not convinced though that in the mod it overwrites, and the reason for doing that is to see if you can actually make your route with your planned trip and taxi fuel. I suppose in fairness you could probably include your contingency, but it doesn't include your alternate, etc., because you want to know when you're arriving whether or not you can do it. So I think once it gets past it, it probably doesn't make any difference. So I will double check why they do that. You don't have to, that plan figure can be left empty, and so you can take it out like that as we start to get nearer to our requested fuel load. So our reserves, we do need to put 3065 is the reserve listed here. I'm going to round it up, and I'm going to round it up again. So it's going to round up to 3.1, I'm going to round it up again to 3.2. That just gives us a little bit of additional time to make the decision whether or not we need to divert. Cost index, as you can see there, is 6. And what we're doing, because we've got a step climb, putting in 180 as our initial cruise, which should correspond with that top of climb wind at 26647. It's a deviation of +7. And you can see 7 default there to Celsius. Even in the US, ISA temperatures are in Celsius. Because it baffled me the first time I started getting US ATIS that the temperature was in Celsius. Everything else isn't. Very confusing. So, happy with all of that. Do the performance in once we've figured out what runway we're going to use. So, as I said, we are looking to increase VANAD, so I'm going to put a fixed ring around that. And I'm going to do, let's say, 10 miles so it shows up as a point, so that when we get a bit closer, there you go, look, it's highlighted that waypoint. And gives us, just acts as a reminder. That's the only reason for doing that. It's just quite helpful. And when we're set to about 40, we should see that waypoint with a green circle. You could make it smaller, you could make it larger. The smaller the closer, the better, I would argue. Just to give you a little prompt that you've got to do something, because it's very easy to forget. Or you could just go straight up to cruise. I suppose it doesn't particularly matter, does it? But we are operating relatively realistically, and if you did do that, it would throw your fuel planning. Of course, you'd end up with more fuel on arrival, which, as we saw in the fan, is not always ideal. So, let's have a look at the departures. It's the Limoges VOR again. So let's say we got that set. That's 4 MSAs, 3,700. Why don't we put that in as well? So LMG, 25 miles from the Limoges VOR. Just checking that it is. Oh. Is it 20? Is it 25 or is it 20? It should be 25. The initial climb is 70, so put that in. There's no ATC. I will set it there just to confirm I haven't checked everything. But there to there. Yeah, 25 miles. So, that there, we've got the VOR tuned. We don't actually need the VOR tuned for that, but that gives us the MSAs for departure. And for this one, it's a flat 370. Correction, 3,700 for that whole circle. So we are IMC. We need to get above terrain. That is the minimum safe altitude in this circle, 3,700. So that's one way of doing it pictorially. Of course, you can do it using the VOR, which we will be going 360 from on departure, regardless of the runway. Eventually, we will be intercepting, heading out that way. So that's useful to have. But the MSA is key there for safety in IMC. So just one way of doing it. And if there are different sectors, you can put in, or you can try and put those different sectors in. It doesn't always work perfectly. One thing I haven't done is Volanta. Got the right aircraft, right everything else good, so that's that data done. Happy. We have finished fueling, so we've got 3680 in both. So we've got 7360, which I'm going to scribble down all over the flight plan. Which is our starting fuel. Did I say our reserves were 313.2? So pop that ready for arrival. Yeah, for time we're still okay. So we've got ground power. We can start getting the cabin prepped. Let's have a look at the weather, shall we? So it's 1000 Zulu, automatic weather, variable at 03. 10k visibility, overcast at 2100. I think you can see that it's overcast there. Temperature 17, dew point 12, QNH 1018, no significant change. So let's have a look. Aerodrome chart. 03 would be easiest for us, and it would send us in the right direction. 03 is what we expected. So it's a slightly quicker, easier taxi, no backtrack, so slightly safer when it comes to operating on the Unicom. Not that anyone's going to die, but considerations. And a slightly shorter route, I would argue, outbound. So let's take 03, right turn from here. And that's BALAN 3 Alpha. There you go, so you can see that there. 18, straight ahead to 1800. Turn left direct to Bravo Lima 602. Yes. And 360 direct to BALAN, which is actually following the Limoges VOR, but it's on now, so we're not using it. So let's do that. And we'll also see how the 1800 works. Let's see what we can get for the performance. written down our zero fuel weight, our gross weight, and we'll plan it on our current gross weight of 66.9. The gross was 59.5. Of course, it could be lighter, you could end up with less than expected baggage, for instance. So LFBL 03, NOAA weather, 17, variable 3, yes. 68, we haven't got 66900, so adjusting the weights. Anti-ice off. Yes, because it's 17 degrees. Optimum flap. Engine bleeds on. We'll see if we can get away with that. All engine modes at a select temperature. And we are getting 24K 30. So, what I am going to do is... there's no takeoff info. So how much do we lose from Sierra? There's a slight intersection here. Just check that there isn't anything, there's only 2. So you'd have to measure it off the chart, which is done to scale. How much are we going to lose? 03 is 2360. Is that from? Shall we go with that figure? What have we got here? Oh, runway length 25. No, no, no. So let's go 2360 because the pavement length looks 2440. 80 meters. That looks about right for an intersection from Sierra. And this is going to get quite close, to be honest. So 2360. Let's recalculate that. That's 2628. Plus 28, that's odd. That shouldn't give us a D rate at all, I don't think. Though the calculator is saying it will. Let's have a look, see what it does. So 2628, 98.6. Yeah, so it does. Interesting. I'm actually going to take... So if I take that off, we can drop down to 24. That's a bit more comfortable. Flap 5 with a stop margin of 175 to allow for any squiffy eventualities. So let's do that. 24. Full power climb. That'll get us up to climb quicker. That's actually more fuel efficient. Increases the engine wear, and maintenance can override fuel sometimes. But climbing quicker is more efficient overall. So, runway 03, intersection Sierra. The runway is dry. It's flap 5, 24K departure. We are not taking sheet temp. We are not having bleeds off. We need 2185 meters. Gives us a stop at 175. And 2300 is the MFRA. That was pretty close. We said it was 1018. Which we can set here as well. $24K, 94.7 P. So flap 5. Going 525, just the way I've loaded it again. Looks about there. And I've got 140, 141, 149. Now they're within a knot, so you could accept them, but I'm just going to do that 149. don't forget to set it. Just set V2, don't set anything else. The runway heading is 033. Seven. That's outbound. Simple as that. We don't really need to set the course for anything. We go for a direct afterwards. Happy days. The flight directors can come on master my side. The MCP is set. Let's get the APU started. Seconds. You can count it out if you want. Okay, so takeoff performance done and happy. We're on VATSIM, everything else is running. Happy days. Here the APU has fired up.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll see the seatbelt lights flash on and off. It's also an indication for you to actually make sure that your seatbelt is securely fastened and ready for departure.
So we're not going to have a push. So we'll be starting on stand, so that can complicate matters ever so slightly. To get you out of sequence for the flow a bit. So no pushback required. Brakes on. What we do need to do, because there's no pushback, is remove the chocks. Better pushback will do that automatically for you. It'd be really good if we had ground crew to interact with. You'd definitely have ground crew for an engine start. Cool. So we've had longer than a minute. Minimum of a minute before you use the power. Might as well get the APU bleed on. And let's stairs up and the door shut. Disconnect the GPU. So 2000 is set, so is the parking brake. Of course you should run through the whole safety inspection before start checklist. I am simply going to start the engines up, and as there is, ooh, hang on, LFEE center are in. Where's that? Great, now I've got to look that up and see if he covers where we are. And I assume he. Probably a little bit unreasonable. Okay, does not. We're not even shown on the map, which is annoying. Okay, whatever. So, we are going to pop all the pumps on. Get the punters sat down, they should be. Pop the anti-collision light on. Just the trigger. Okay, that's the door shut. Packs off. We have started squawking, the brake is set. I mean, parking brake, etc. These are checks you'd be doing on a light aircraft anyway. So let's start engine number 2. We should check with the ground crew. at some point in the cruise I will be nipping away for a little quick lunch. I thought I'd be able to wait until after we landed, but I'm getting pretty peckish. So in-flight meal service is provided today. There we go, we've got one stable engine, 2, 4, 6 and 3. Start engine number 1. Fuel on. You can see the fuel flow goes up quite rapidly and then drops down to about half. Of course, injecting fuel and then setting fire to it means the EGT starts to go up. That expansion increases the N2 rate of the turbine.
Bonjour, longitude 2, Whiskey Zulu, flight level 370, inbound challenge, Alex.
That gets the turbine going at the back, which starts running the fan, and then as the cold air comes in through the front, it starts to cool the EGT down. Anyway, 1, 2, 4, 6 and 3. So they are both fine. Run through the flow. Ooh, wrong way. There we go. Hopefully that hasn't caused any issues. No. So you can do this a lot quicker than you can the check, and the check is just to confirm. So we are clear. Flap set, flying controls, full forward, full aft, full left, full right, full left rudder, full right rudder. Course checked. Let us run through it before taxi. Gen's on, no lights. APU is off, not required. Start switches both continuous. Anti-ice probes on, anti-ice not required. Air conditioning. See there, PAX auto, bleeds on, ISO's auto. Flap, 5 required, 5 set, green light. Stab trim, 525 required, about 525 set. Start levers, 2 idle D10. Flight controls checked, recalls checked, we are therefore ready to taxi. So it is going to be off blocks at 1135 with 3650, 3660. Most traffic run Air 7 Delta X-ray stand 1 Alpha, taxiing via Sierra, hold a short runway 03, the most traffic. So we have called up, lights on, clear left, clear right, back to the front, brakes off, quick config check, get the airplane moving, test the brakes, they work, let's go. Oh, I haven't done the shadows, that's enough. Done. So you can see we've got those blast screens there. Using minimum power to get the airplane going. Somebody's put a bit of work into here, it's quite good. Floating stuff, but that's what happens when you've got non-level terrain.
Cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Happy days. Most traffic for Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. Lining up, taking off runway 03, BALAN 3 Alpha departure, the most traffic. So we have self-cleared for departure. We are going to use LNAV.
Approaching 03.
Squeeze of power just to help us around this turn.
On runway 03.
Let's figure out the steering. There we go, so 40%. It's 38. 630 and 640. Stable power. Toga time. Large rudder inputs needed to start with. Get the stick all the way forward. Hello. Waiting for the 80 knot call. Check the airspeed indicator. 80 knots checked, so they confirm. Release the forward pressure. Throttles are held. Hands still on the throttle in case we need to abort. Let the airplane ride that bump out.
E1, rotate.
There we go. 10 degrees through the dead band onto the flight director. Didn't hear a positive rate. There we go, that works. Gear up.
400.
Monday. Let's see if at 1800 we start the turn. We do not. It was a calculated point. That's fun. Pretty low level turn. Let's bug up. Into cloud, no anti-ice required. Leave the start switches as they are for the moment. There's the aeroplane accelerating. We're above the carrot. Flap 1, travelling. Passing flap 1. Flap up, travelling. Okay, flaps up, no lights, VNAV, 250. Popping out cloud. Start switches back. Check pressurization, the airplane's pressurizing. Max are all on. It's not bumpy, so we're going to crew out. We are climbing to flight level 180. It's easy to forget to set the altimeter when you don't have somebody tell you the difference between climb altitude and flight level. So speed is max 250 for this departure. There's no intermediate speed restriction. Don't want to go screaming around that climbing turn, obviously. Our arrival 016, so set that. See the airplane twitching around with a variable wind. There we go, start a nice gradual turn. Not too steep. Relatively comfortable, 10 degrees. And looks like London's gone offline, so we might be Unicom all the way, never mind. Just had a little cough there, which is might be a bit late with the 10, so there's the airplane accelerating. Get all the lights off. I suppose it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit late on those. 1.8 set, seat set, diffs at 3.5, cabins at 3.5, climbing steady. Recalls checked, not bumpy. Okay, the punter's out. There we go, we're on our way. So we took off 7 minutes early. So we only used 90 kilos for taxi there, we had 170 planned. So that moving the heading there, I just have that map to a switch on my joystick. It really helps if you're hand flying, so you don't have to go back to using the mouse. Got altitude on this one, heading on this one, and speed on another, but of course we've been out of speed, so the speed window is not open. Got trim on there. I thought I had out into vent. We do have out into vent on the trigger. Autopilot engage will CDA disconnect as well. So all those little buttons help.
To go.
You see we've got quite a long way to go. It's not that far I suppose, but you can see that that little marker does help. So there we are, levelling off. So I'm just bringing the throttles back to idle. There we are, cruising. It is 45 for the top of climb. Minus 8. 3250, 3260. So we've got 212 kilos in hand at the moment. There you go, so even at 40 you can see having that 10 mile ring, it starts to creep in and it should be noticeable as we start tracking towards it. So we are overhead at 47 bang on the nose with 3220 and 3230. So interestingly, we're doing quite well on the fuel. And we are 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes ahead of schedule now. Interesting. There you go, so that does help. Circles the waypoint and then gives you that notice as well. I think you'd be hard pushed to miss that. Probably should have done it for the step descent. But all these things are just little tricks to help jog your memory, little reminders, because of course there's only one of you sat in the jet. So we got 18 set, 18 sets, 18 set. That will of course change. As you can see, the diff pressure is about 5 and a bit. Cabin out's only at 4. If we were doing this cruise all the way, that's how it would stay. Of course, we are going to increase that cabin altitude when we increase our cruise as well. And the one thing, look, I managed to miss doing the after takeoff checks. So, water brake off, gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. That was what I did check. Start switch is clearly not required there. Everything's out in the cabin, we've got 4 pumps. Bad drills. Got to get into that habit. So once we get to our final cruise, that's when I think I will go for my lunch. Got some leftover dinner to microwave, so it'll be very, very representative of a crew meal. Microwaved food. Oh, there's a new Zibo version already. Dear oh dear. You snooze, you lose. So, Sopel 51.8, I'll call that 52. We're still 9 minutes ahead of schedule. There is LATC. So 1 minute after Sopel is an FIR boundary. So we should be going from Bordeaux to Paris. Of course, we ain't, because there's no ATC. And the Reims FIR doesn't go all the way up to the coast anyway. I have no idea how they do the sexes on VATSIM, just going off the on-route chart. So, fuel-wise, what have we got in Sopel? So, looking to the right-hand ND, just as we click over, got a little course change. There we are overhead, 3120, 3130. So we've got got 6250 on board. So we've used 1110. We should have used 1412 by now. So 302 in hand, but again that is probably because of the significantly lighter aeroplane that we've got. So we are just a ton lighter. What are the adjustments on the weight change? It's only 53 kilos, so that doesn't cut it. I don't know, subbrief is a little bit off at lower altitude cruise, I guess. But never mind. So we are following airways that go the other way. And until VANAD they are one way south, so we've got to stay low to go under them. Unless we'd gone a slightly different route. Whatever. This is the Amboise VOR. And then at VANAD we can start our climb. Manchester to Faro. Faro is a good destination. Bit of a long stint, but enjoy it, my friend. Is there any ATC online? Let's have a look on the radar. Lisbon's online. What's your call sign, Joseph? See an easy? Well, that won't be you. I suppose it could be. It is VATSIM after all. Do whatever the chuff you like, really. Oh boy, am I hungry. Level 33, not long. Got a climb to worry about within that as well. So that's going to get us to Amber at 80. So yeah, is good there. Let's just double check the legs. It's 170 and Detling, Lofo 250. Yes. So is that 55.6? It is. So we're about 9.5 early. Here we are coming up overhead. So we've got 310 kilos extra. So I suppose 10 miles is probably a good fixed ring to put on there for reminding you to request climb from ATC. Always set the MCP to whatever ATC tell you, regardless of what else you're doing. Unless you're of course on final approach doing VNAV, for instance. Once you're cleared for the approach, manipulate that as you will, but always set it to what ATC say, don't rely on VNAV. I'm pretty sure I've heard level bus on VATSIM because people do that. Just let the airplane do its own thing. So London South and London Centre are online, that's good. That'll alleviate some of the chaos. You see the fixed ring coming up on the other side as well. Maybe 20 miles would have been more appropriate. Either way, it doesn't matter as long as it gives you a reminder. So we are going to climb to flight level 320. So I'm going to request that, and ATC would either say yes, because of course we're not going to make 320 if we start now. So we set 320 on the MCP. We set 320 on the pressurization controller. And look, you see the airplane, the cabin altitude starts to climb. And we're going to remain in VNAV, so I'm going to press up into vent. There is the airplane climbing, and cruise climb has now been set 320, so we got it set once, set twice, 3 times. They might of course, ATC might of course say start climb after VANAD. If there was no traffic to affect, they'd just let you climb straight away. If you have filed it via SimBrief on VATSIM, controllers don't always twig the waypoint notes in the flight plan section, so my cruise altitude for this flight plan was 180, so you would have to request, they're not going to do it automatically. Passing 200, so another 10 check. There you go, look, the cabin diff pressure has gone up to 5.6, the cabin's climbed to almost 5. It's climbing steadily, and it's set. Still got 4 pumps. Off we go. Right, I'm going to mute the mic for a bit, go and start some food, because I'm famished. Feel free to say anything in chat, and I'll get back to you in a bit.
4,000 to go.
Well, there is Sod's Law. We're nowhere near the FIR boundary and getting pinged already. Right, mid-scoff as well. Never mind. There's no ATIS as far as I can see for Stansted. Ortho has got ATIS, that makes a change. The aircraft was Speedbird 22 Kilo Victor, Chris Eggleton from Gatwick to Barcelona.
High level control is ED73 Hotel November passing 2400.
ED73 Hotel November London Control, hello, climb flight level 330.
330, ED73 Hotel.
Got those in a minute. London, good afternoon. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, flight level 320, SITET.
Right, 7 Delta X-ray, London Control, hello to you, squawk at the 0305.
Squawk 0305, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. Good luck, Joseph.
London Center Leaders, Hotel 1685, flight level 230.
Lufthansa 7685, London Control, flight level 290. In fact, is it T30 you're requesting, or would you like higher? Lufthansa 6785, would you like a higher level, or is 230 your final level?
Can I go to 350? This is my file, flight level.
Lufthansa 6785, roger, climb flight level 350.
That's climbing to maintain flight level 350.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, turn left please, heading 315.
Left heading 315, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Easy to Tango Victor, contact Reams 128.3, bye.
Reams now on 128.3, easy to Tango Victor, bye.
Bye.
So it's what you put in, Joseph.
Very good morning, Ryanair, Ranger 215 350, inbound OKC, but we have some performance issues, so flight disconnect.
Right, Turkey 21, roger.
You can pick it, your virtual airline can give it to you, you can use a real one.
London City Speedbird 2732 with you passing 2806.
22732 London, hello, route direct Southampton, climb flight level 120.
Direct Southampton, flight level 120, Speedbird 2732.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, traffic at your 1 o'clock, you may see, he may be trying to pass through your level, he's on Unicom currently, is a British Airways 777.
Looking, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, nothing on TCAS, thanks.
London Center, Qantas 321, altitude 3,600, climbing 4,000.
Qantas 321 London Control, hello, climb flight level 190.
Climb flight level 190, Qantas 321.
Easy 248 Mike, monitor Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
Yeah, 228, easy, 48.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, you clear of that traffic now. It's going to be an Avant 1 Lima arrival into Stansted. You can route now direct to Ockham.
Okay, Avant 1 Lima into Stansted direct Ockham, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, thanks. So, let's tune, let's get the chart first. Let's head north.
As you know, Echo London Control, hello, climb flight level 350.
Happy.
22732, climb flight level 330.
So we're still in heading mode. That's not a
330,
problem.
Speedbird 2732.
And we're going to go direct Ockham, there's a discontinuity there.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, expect 160 by VATSIM, descent when ready, flight level 180.
I expect 160 VAT on when ready. This is like 180 around this.
Easy 959, I monitor Unicom 122.8, away.
Monitor Unicom 122.8, thank you, goodbye.
Goodbye, Lufthansa 6785, monitor Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
Unicom 122.8, Lufthansa 6785, thanks very much, bye-bye. Bye.
London, hello again, 0213, 4500 to 6000, Compton 2 Golf.
Charlie, with you passing through flight level 37.
Okay, 2 station 2213 London, hello, climb flight 130, direct Bucharest.
That was busy. P3D. Switch to X-Plane, my friend, and get Zibo.
London Control, hello to you, climb flight level 26.
I'm going to scoff in between this, I'm just going to mute the mic.
Flight level 260.
Qantas 321, turn left heading 340 degrees. Turn left heading 340, Qantas 321. Qantas 321, report you're heading to London 127.1, bye-bye. 127.1, Qantas 321. Easy 73, Hotel November, redirect Lelna. Direct to Lelna, 73 at Lelna. 213, monitor Unicom 1228, alright. Unicom 1228, 023, bye.
Talking with the mic off. That's a registration, not a call sign, so your airline call sign would be something different. That's why the displays were dim. So, profiles. Going swiftly. London Runner 7 Delta X-rays. So, predicted fuel. Yeah. Let's just go with 4.4. So 0.4 on this gives us 63.9. It's probably going to be flap 30. London Runner 7 Delta X-ray.
Charlie, 254 Lima passing 6,500 on a bit of veil for departure after Sona. 224 Lima, flight climb level 290. 290, can you give a heading or a direct please? I'm currently renting toward Darling. 224 Lima, yeah, that's fine, direct Darling. Berlin, direct Darling, cheers. And there's another station
take it was run as 7 Delta X-ray. What runway did you set to standstill, please?
The other next controller will confirm, I believe it's runway 22.
Roger, thanks, on plan 22, run as 7 Delta X-ray. So there's no ATIS.
1000 is in, Delta 1, currently at flight level 150, heading towards Kilo.
So
Delta 100,
going
roger.
to Laurel for 22.
Titan 150, Delta 1.
So we got 10k, 19, 14, 6.
218, Sierra Lima, Nordic Joe, hello, climb flight level 3, correction, climb flight level 170. 87.3, Hotel November, monitor Unicorn 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
122 decimal 8, thank you very much. Have a pleasant day. 73 at the number.
Bye-bye, speed at 2732, just caution, traffic, EasyJet 321, coming to a similar route 10 miles ahead of you, monitor Unicorn now 1228, good day.
Going to 122 decimal 8, caution traffic, thank you, speed at 2732.
Speed at 18 Sierra Lima, route direct to SITET. Alright, SITET. Speed at 18 Sierra Lima. Asia 9 Echo from Reims, using route direct Bengal, Bravo, Echo, Golf Alpha Romeo.
So what do we got? 152, yeah, that works. Going in via Laurel. So Buster, Laurel at 7. It's interesting, we've got Laurel at 6 there. Fine, whatever. We're into Stansted, Joseph. And it's a particularly horrific arrival. 1105. With all the 2s. $3,000, down to 2.5. Yes. So a little bit rushed, and then my lunch is going cold. And the guy that was coming the other way, Alexander Buddy from Echo Tango, Mike November, I asked him if he was new. He said, "What's your language?" Well, "What's you language?" And has not replied to anything since, despite me trying to educate him that he was clearly at the wrong cruise, because France do north-south rather than east-west. The RS22, yes, we haven't executed. Lima, yes. So, Barquay. 625. 105 for the ILS. And the mist is going to be 353. And the minimums for the ILS are 548.
218 Sierra Lima, climb flight level 350. Climb flight 350, speed at 1. Flight control, good afternoon, it's Zibo 273 Golf, flight Goxie departure 2006. 2273 Golf, London, hello, climb flight level 120 and heading 250 degrees. Climb now, flight level 120 on a rate of heading at 250 degrees, speed at 273 Golf. Delta 1, turn left, heading 125.
Left, heading 125, Delta.
Hello, 2549, and with you passing 3,008 feet.
Swiss US 549 London, hello, climb flight 310.
Flight level 310, 6549.
And 205, 180 Lima, I think you called. Just request an FY for now. Yeah, approved. Delta 1, descent flight level 130.
Flight level 130, Delta 1.
And the controls of inventory Charlie back with you, sorry.
So we're back over Blighty.
Right, 7 Delta X-ray, descent flight 160.
Set flight level 160, runner 7 Delta X-ray. Okay, which is what we are descending to. Frame rate felt like it was tanking a bit there, but it's okay.
2180 Lima. Right, 7 Delta X-ray, contact London 127.1, by the way.
London 127.1, thanks for the service, so you can see. Runner 7 Delta X-ray, bye.
Scandinavian 22. Scandinavian 22, climb level 390, 1 Unicom 122.8, climb.
390 over to Unicom 122.8, Scandinavian 22, thank you very much, have a good day.
Shuttle to 12 Hotel, 1 Unicom 122.8.
Unicom 122.8, Shuttle 12 Hotel, see you in a bit.
Good afternoon, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, passing flight level 184, descending flight level 160, Avant 1 Lima, expecting 22 stand steady.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, all correct, it will be radar vectors for Ryanair 2.
Roger, thanks, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Cargo 23, Charlie Foxtrot, contact London 129.45. 129.45 for the check. Cargo 23, Charlie Foxtrot, thanks a lot. Cargo King 996 Charlie, direct Morag.
Direct Morag, Cargo King 996 Charlie.
EV422, climb level 310.
Continue climb to flight level 35, correction 310, is reported.
When you're ready, Bravo Alpha, hold out for 1. Bravo Alpha, hold out for 1, you're transit 66. Hello. Good 846, pressing 2,900, planning 6,000 at the approximate 7 Golf departure. Cargo, sorry, Condor 846, London Control, climb now level 110. Climb now level 110, Condor 846. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descent level 140.
Set flight level 140, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Condor 846, turn right direct brave. Right direct brave, Condor 846, thank you. Cargo King 996, Charlie, 1 Unicom 122.8, goodbye.
Unicom 122.8, thanks for the break, 7 out, Cargo King 996 Charlie.
Thousand to go.
Negative, there's no one can bring this for the moment. Unicom for you. What's your attack on Unicom? Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descent level 120.
Set flight level 120, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
London Control 1 out, got 413, type phone 778, in the hold at Underwood. Request basic service and transit via this damage to corridor flight level 100. Qantas 321, turn right heading 335. Turn right heading 335, Qantas 321. One again, got 413 in the hold at Underwood, altitude 5,000 feet, altimeter 299 at 8. 151, descent level 200.
1,000 to go.
Not altimeter.
Flight level 200, Qantas 321. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descend for level 80.
So flight level 80, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Contact 846, climb for level 150. Climb level 150, ignore 846. London 12, good morning, Ascot 413 and in the holder on your altitude 5,000 feet, altitude 2998, request basic service on the transit by the director corridor in the climb level 100. Ascot 413, London Control, squawk 0336. 0336, Ascot 413.
So we want 220 by Barkway.
Easy 422, contact London Control 129.45. London Control 129.245, easy 422. Qantas 321, direct Trent, Dane to Alpha arrival. Direct Trent, Dane to Alpha arrival, Qantas 321. Qantas 321, continue Unicom 122.85. Ascot 43, climb level 100, remain outside, it is a basic service. Climb level 100, basic service, remain outside. Ascot 13. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, fly heading 040 degrees, descent level 70.
Heading 040 degrees, descent flight level 70, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Union 1625, it's the Dane to Alpha arrival, when ready, descent level 140.
So I think he should have given us a vectors ILS. We were expecting that anyway. So we can think about cleaning this all up in a little bit. Might as well do it now actually. That looks about right. Just a little bit of path information. And I'm going to use some speed brake just to help out. We should have had the lights on already. Pumps on. Phone's on silent. Recall's checked. So I'm going to bring that back to about 220 as well.
Ascot 413, there's no speed restriction, you're clear to enter the Daventry corridor, maintaining flight level 100, report entering. Clear to enter the Daventry corridor, maintaining flight level 100, and report entering that Daventry.
1,000 to go.
London Center, Qantas 321, request flight level 150. Qantas 321, yes, Unicom 122 decimal 8. London to Unicom 122 decimal 8, thank you for your service. Qantas 321. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, 28 miles, descend to altitude 3,000 feet,
1,000 to go.
QNH 1016.
Turn altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1016, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Translate 66 from Alpha 127, clear takeoff for the surface wind 1808 knots. Clear takeoff 260, translate 66. Order 846, climb level 310. Climb level 310, ignore 846. London Center, a very good afternoon. Tomjet 46 Charlie is 757-200. Flight level 380 over Minfa, direct hotbed destination Manchester. Tomjet 46 Charlie, you're in the north sector, I'm afraid, which we're not covering at the moment. Unicom to you, 122.8. Unicom 122.8, bye-bye. Union 1625, Unicom 122.8, bye.
What do you come 128? Thanks, Union 65.
So DME is checked. Not the DME, the ident and the course is checked. Don't need anti-ice, it's above 10 degrees. Well, that's a PM from someone else. Odd.
London Control, EC27 Golf. EC27 Golf, London, climb level 190. Climb level 190.
So we'll bring it back to the up.
Golf, sorry, I've had a change of plan. Am I able to tie that into Gatwick, please? EC27 Golf, A firm. When able, route direct Disset. Join Disset 1 Golf arrival Gatwick. Disset and just repeat the last part for me, please. EC27 Golf. Just the Disset 1 Golf arrival to Gatwick.
So that's not quite our profile, but it's what we're going to be probably vectored to. Go flap 1. Bring the speed back.
EC27 Golf, I've amended your flight plan already. The cruise will be 190. 190, EC27 Golf. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, then right heading 095.
Right heading 095 degrees from the 7 Delta X-ray.
Thousand to go.
He's going to get us closing it.
London Control, good afternoon. Spirit 41 Alpha, Final 360, approaching 10%.
Spirit 1 Alpha London, hello, wrong London, I'm afraid it's 129.425.
Oh, my apologies. 129.450.
Condor 846, climb level 370. Condor 370, Condor 846.
So we've got a localizer showing up. VS to finesse.
That's got 4-3 radar control. Control, that's got 5-3. Ryanair 7 Delta X, descent altitude 2,000 feet, right heading 195, cleared LS approach 22.
Descent altitude 2,000 feet, heading 195 degrees, cleared ILS 22, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. Oh, we are well and truly below. So yeah, he's taking us to the final. You can just tidy up like that.
EC27 Golf, just confirm the runway for approach Gatwick. I don't know, you'll get that issued when you get close to the airport. The ATIS at the moment is saying 26 left. Roger, thanks, 26 left, EC27 Golf.
VS to finesse. Low drag.
EC27 Golf,
The
apologies
best.
to be a bit of a pain. I have not got the distant arrival on my aircraft. EC27 Golf, that's fine. Do you have Kidley 1 Golf?
Localizer alive.
EC27 Golf, standby. It's fine. If
Should
you're on
be
an
a
old
capture and a
aircraft,
turn.
it'll be the Willow 3 Bravo. I'll just put them in text. You can pick whichever one you've got. Roger, I believe I've got the Willow 3 Bravo. EC27 there. I have EC27 Golf. In that case, EC27 Golf direct. Kidley join the Willow 3 Bravo arrival.
Does shoot through.
Kidley EC27 Golf. Scott
2500.
Scott 43, Roger.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray established ILS 227 miles at standstill.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray 22, you're clear to land to the service wind 1708 knots.
Runway 22 clear lands, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Go Trans 866 report level, climb level 150. Report level climb 150, Euro Trend.
There you go, stable on the glide with 5.
Report your level as in report current.
The mist is ahead, not above 3.
5
GS is captured, so we
level
won't
50, sorry.
out of wire. Vehicles checked, cabin secure. Speed brake armed, water brake set. Stance is continuous, holding on. Landing flap and gear. So you can see 5 is quite nice. It's a bit sketchy with the tailwind, you might need 10, even though the speed's the same. A bit of additional drag. 4.5 miles.
It looks to me like you're more in line with the Westcott radar corridor, so when you get towards the end of Westcott, I'm going to give you a heading to exit control airspace.
So we don't have to be stable to 500.
Flaps. Flaps.
So hold at flap 25 first, let it stabilise. Flap 30.
Approaching. 2.
See, you can hear the aeroplane is still trimming. A little bit wallowy.
Shanghai Zibo Foxtrot London, Squawk 0341.
Definitely felt out of trim. So let's just watch the rate of descent.
300. Control Shanghai 21 Alpha, inbound M Cook, and it's flight level 2.
200.
Your call sign on the network is Tom 21 Alpha, Squawk for me 0321.
A little bit slow.
100.
Tom 21 Alpha, repeat the squawk. Tom 21 Alpha 0321.
40. 30. 20. 10.
That's more like it.
Zero Trend 866 and flight level 150. Roger, that's your cruise.
Oh, we're not going to make that.
80 knots.
Checked.
Satellite Alpha, with you 5200. Satellite Alpha, London Control, high speed approved, climb now for level 90. High speed approved, flight level 90, Satellite Alpha.
An S7 Delta X-ray vacated 22 standstill.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, thank you. Make a left on Juliet for me, stand 25 left.
Left on Juliet, stand 25 left, run S7 Delta X-ray, thanks.
Condor 846, Yukon 122 decimal 8, goodbye. 122 decimal 8, Kilo 846, goodbye. Tom 21 Alpha, you said you're routing to M Cook, is that correct? AFM Tom 21 Alpha. Roger. Euro Trend 866. Pass message. Have you got a runway for Heathrow anywhere?
I think there's
don't know
two.
which runway they're using for landing, sadly. They do have an Aegis up though. You'll be one of the 2 sevens.
So we'll give the engines 3 minutes to cool down.
When ready, descend Pop 150 to be leveled by Kidley. 150 leveled by Kidley, easy 27 golf.
5 left is an interesting one. It's not Ryanair stand. Maybe it is these days, I don't know.
London Control, hello, Turkish Mike Sierra Alpha, stand number 24 Romeo, information on board, destination Echo India, Bravo, Whiskey, Whiskey, ATC clear.
Station call from again, please.
Turkish Mike Sierra Alpha.
Turkish Mike Sierra, there's a bit of a problem with your route, I'll chat with you about it on text, 1 sec.
Roger.
Eurotrans 866, maintain 54150.
Maintain 150, Eurotrans 866.
Shuttle 8 Alpha, climb level 180.
Climb level 180, shuttle 8 Alpha.
Ascot 413, turn right, heading to 70 degrees.
Right, heading to 70 degrees, Ascot 413.
Eurotrans 866, direct to Bobbington and Bravo, November, November.
Direct Bobbington, Eurotrans 866. Under Eurotrans 866, we just reached our top of descent. Would you like us to maintain 150 or can we descend a bit?
Eurotrans 866, you can descend to level 110.
110, Eurotrans 866.
Just making sure we don't get any dual bleed issues there. So the APU is running the air conditioning. Obviously not pressurization, we don't need that now. And I think we're probably just about had 3 minutes after landing. So I'm going to shut down engine number 2. So if that's Papa, our stand is up on the right after Alpha. Landed and taken off, yeah, good timing. Oh, is there somebody on my stand? No. So we're going to come round, which is why I left the left engine on.
Eurotrans 866, descend Papa later.
80, Eurotrans 866.
Shuttle 8 Alpha, climb level 300.
Climb level 300, shuttle 8 Alpha.
I think that's just an audio issue. Okay, not the best line up onto stand and a little bit quick.
Eurotrans 866, contact Heathrow 119.725.
119.725, Eurotrans 866 back.
Maybe I'll get boundless standstill.
London, good afternoon, rather than just 20 Yankee Whiskey with the flight level 340.
God, that's
Contact
horrific.
20 Yankee Whiskey, London, squawk 0356, fly heading 195.
0356 and heading
Okay, 2 blues,
just 2
1 red. Engine's dead.
20214 uniform, thank you, climb now, flight level 70. Ascot 413, turn right, heading 295, correction, we have to Soldier 1 Tango, descending flight level 140 by Upton. This is Scott 1310, right heading to 905, you'll be leaving control airspace in 4 miles. Right heading to 905, Scott 110. Tom Jet 1 Tango, thank you, temperature Golf, descent of 140 to level Upton. Temperature Golf, descent flight level 140 by Upton. Tom Jet 1 Tango. Speed 214 uniform negative, flight level 70, flight heading 350 degrees.
Right, so Delta X-ray shut down, thanks for the service.
Delta X-ray, thanks for flight, bye.
Right, well that is us shut down. Let's have a look at the replay just so you guys can see the landing, which despite a bit of a sketchy approach was not too bad. Come back here. So let's go with the doors shut. It's alright to me, certainly better than yesterday, just goes to show that I can do it. Thanks very much, Joseph. Yeah, so your IFR call signs aren't going to be your, unless you're flying a private aircraft, you're a company, then you've got your own personal call signs, so whichever airline you're flying for, dig out one of those. But yeah, that wasn't a bad landing. Quite good, I thought. A bit sketchy with the wind, but not bad. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I hope it's somewhat educational, a bit rushed. I'm going to get back to my food. Thanks for watching, and until next time, welcome to Stansted. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.